The world's best paratriathletes gathered in Rotterdam for the ITU Paratriathlon World Championships, all bidding for gold in the various classes. Great Britain's Phil Hogg was in good spirits ahead of the men's PT1 race. Athletes from around the globe and with a range of disabilities would compete ahead of the Paralympics in Rio in September. The USA's Mark Barr was one of 10 athletes in the men's PT2, and the 30-year-old from California, one of a sizable US contingent. Jetse Platt was flying the flag for the host nation. Paratriathlon debuts at the Paralympics later this year, with the women's PT2, 4 and 5 classes represented, while the men's PT1, 2 and 4 will also feature. The different classes started in the water for the wetsuit swim, with the start staggered. It was the PT4 men's and women's classes that were first off for the one-lap 750-metre swim in the Rheinhaven. They were followed at short intervals by the other classes. The swim over, it was back to T1 and the 20-kilometre bike. Great Britain's Lauren Steadman impressed in the water in the women's PT4 race. Steadman had gone undefeated in the last 2 years, including wins in the last 2 World Championships. Rio-bound two-time world champion Martin Schulz was well placed in the men's PT4, while in the PT5 class, the Ukraine's Vasyl Zakrevsky was bidding to go one better than his silver last year. Steadman had soon dispensed with a wetsuit and was looking to extend her lead over the USA's Grace Norman, but the British athlete crashed out on the first lap of the bike. Stefan Bailly was third out of the water in the men's PT2, while the Netherlands' Jolien Hacker and Great Britain's Alison Patrick were also out in the women's PT5. Steadman out of the race, as was the visually impaired Ukrainian Zakrevsky with his guide. The bike over, it was off to pound the streets on the 5-kilometre run. Schulz, who lost his world crown last year, was desperate to get back the title in the PT4 class. Norman now had a healthy lead. The 2015 silver medalist knew gold was within her grasp. Andrew Lewis had got himself ahead in the men's PT2, but was being pursued by Frenchman Bailly. Krieger Chabot from the USA and Benjamin Lennartz from Germany were showing great speed and agility on the hand bikes. Elise Mark was out of T2, but briefly lost her way as she set off on the run. As the race drew to a close, Germany's Schulz crossed the line first to take gold in the men's PT4. Norman took full advantage of Steadman's crash to take gold in the women's PT4. American success too in the men's PT5 as Aaron Sheedy's crossed the line to clinch a 4th title. After losing her title as the world's fastest in the PT5 class last year, Alison Patrick put together the perfect race to take gold. It was a day to remember for Russia's Denis Kungurtchev, who triumphed in the men's PT3, while in the women's class, France's Manon Ganest held off the challenge of two-time world champion Sally Pilbeam to finish first. Alyssa Seeley kept her stranglehold in the women's PT2 with her 2nd consecutive title. Brad were delighted to see Jetse Platt cross the line first in the men's PT1, while second came the USA's Krieger Chabot. So to round up the podiums, Jetse Platt took gold in the men's PT1, with Chabot second and another Dutchman, Geert Schipper, third. Alyssa Seeley took gold in the women's PT2. Andrew Lewis won the men's PT2 with Mark Barr and Stefan Bailly taking silver and bronze respectively. Manon Ganest topped the podium in the women's PT3. Russia's Denis Kungurtchev, who's only been racing 3 years, took top spot in the PT3. Germany's Martin Schulz triumphed in the men's PT4 by over 90 seconds. In the PT5 category, Great Britain's Alison Patrick came first, and in the men's, a great day for the USA was capped by Aaron Sheedy. And finally, the USA's Grace Norman comprehensively took gold to take her first world title in the women's PT4.